Dark Knight Chronicles, all the actors who've brought Batman to life. Welcome, Bat fans, to the ultimate rundown of every live-action Batman. From the iconic cowl to the mysterious persona, we've seen a range of actors take on the role of Gotham's protector. Whether it's on the big screen, small screen, or in the darker corners of the multiverse, Batman's legacy has been shaped by a wide array of performances. Let's journey back through time and explore all the actors who've donned the Batsuit, ranked from the most recent to the earliest portrayal. Get ready for a deep dive into Gotham's shadowy history. The Batman 2022. The Dark Detective, Robert Pattinson. In the most recent entry to the Bat franchise, Robert Pattinson takes center stage as a grizzled and younger version of Bruce Wayne in The Batman 2022. Directed by Matt Reeves, Pattinson's take on the Caped Crusader is darker and more grounded, with a focus on Batman's detective skills as he investigates Gotham's deep-rooted corruption. The film presents a Batman in his second year of crime fighting, struggling to understand his role in the city while facing off against the chilling Riddler. Pattinson's performance leans heavily into a brooding, almost tortured Bruce Wayne, with a physicality and vulnerability that fans have grown to love. The movie also sets up a potentially exciting new era for the character in a more realistic, noir-style setting. The Next Generation of Gotham, David Miller, 2023. In 2023, David Miller took on the role of a new, unexpected Batman in Gotham Knights, 2023, a TV series set in a world where Bruce Wayne is dead and his adopted son, Turner Hayes, becomes Gotham's new protector. David Miller portrays a unique version of Batman whose legacy continues to loom large over the events of the show. While not portraying Bruce Wayne directly in costume, Miller's Batman is central to the show's plot, and his presence casts a long shadow as the characters struggle to live up to the ideals of the Bat. The series explores themes of legacy, family, and what it truly means to take on the mantle of the Dark Knight, with Miller's Batman acting as an enduring symbol of hope in a city on the edge. The DCEU's Batman Ben Affleck's fearsome knight from Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016, through Justice League, 2017, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, 2021, Ben Affleck's version of Batman was one of the most divisive and intriguing in modern cinema. Affleck's Batman, a grizzled veteran who's seen the worst of Gotham, is a far cry from the sleek and polished versions that came before him. His portrayal begins with a darker, almost jaded iteration of Bruce Wayne, having crossed lines in his mission for justice. Affleck's Batman is physically imposing and morally conflicted, fighting not only external threats but his own internal demons. He would later appear in The Flash, 2023, to close out his era in the DCEU, showcasing one last heroic stand before passing the mantle. Crisis of Infinite Earths, Kevin Conroy's live-action Batman, 2020. Kevin Conroy, the iconic voice of Batman from Batman the Animated Series, 1990s, was given the opportunity to suit up live-action in Batwoman during the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event in 2020. Conroy's portrayal is a moment of pure fan service, as he plays a darker, more twisted version of Batman from Earth 99. This live-action cameo shows Conroy's Batman as having become a tyrant, one who took a much more ruthless path than the one we know and love from his animated days. This appearance was an emotional moment for longtime fans and marked the first time Conroy physically portrayed Bruce Wayne outside of voice acting. The grizzled veteran, Ian Glenn, 2019. Ian Glenn appeared as an older, retired Bruce Wayne in the Titans TV series, 2019, where his character was much more jaded and emotionally scarred from years of fighting crime. Glenn's version of Batman was not only physically worn, but emotionally broken, embodying a Bruce Wayne who had hung up his cape and cowl, only to be pulled back into the chaos of Gotham. While Glenn played the role of Bruce Wayne, the action sequences and the portrayal of Batman in costume were handled by a stunt double, allowing the character to take on a more physically imposing presence in battle. This version of Batman was emotionally complex, reflecting the toll of years spent as Gotham's protector. Glenn's performance emphasized a Batman who was at peace with his decisions, but also struggling with the damage done to his body and soul over time, offering a nuanced portrayal of an aging hero. Gotham's young Bruce Wayne. David Mazouz. In Gotham, 2014-2019, David Mazouz played a young Bruce Wayne throughout the show's 5-season run. The series, which chronicles the early days of Gotham City's transformation and the rise of its famous villains, focuses heavily on the evolution of young Bruce into the man who would become Batman. Mazouz's Bruce starts off as a curious and vulnerable orphan and matures into a determined young man who begins to take on the persona of Gotham's future protector. Though he doesn't fully become Batman during the show, the foundation for his transformation is laid down, with the final scene hinting at what's to come. The Realistic Revolution, Christian Bale, 2005-2012. Christian Bale redefined Batman in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, 2005-2012, bringing realism and psychological depth to the role. Beginning with Batman Begins, 2005, Bale's Bruce Wayne was a man shaped by trauma, embarking on a journey to become Gotham's protector. In The Dark Knight, 2008, he faced his greatest foe, the Joker, Heath Ledger, in a cultural phenomenon that explored morality and chaos. Bale's final turn in The Dark Knight Rises, 2012, saw an older, broken Bruce Wayne rise to face one last challenge, completing his transformation into a symbol of hope. Bale's nuanced performance and gritty realism made his Batman one of the most iconic portrayals of all time. Birds of Prey and the Bat Legacy, Alex Daniels. Alex Daniels' portrayal of Batman in the Birds of Prey TV series, 2002-2003, is brief but memorable. As a vigilante who has gone missing in Gotham, Batman's shadow looms large over the story, even though his direct involvement is limited. The series, which focuses on a team of female superheroes led by Oracle, aka Barbara Gordon, includes Batman's role as a mentor figure, with Daniels briefly appearing as a faceless, symbolic presence in the series. His version of Batman remains more of a shadowy figure whose legacy still impacts the characters, even if the man behind the mask is not seen often. The Cloak of Camp, George Clooney, 1997-2023. George Clooney's portrayal of Batman in Batman and Robin, 1997, is often remembered for its campy, over-the-top tone, neon visuals, and its playful approach to the superhero genre. Clooney himself has humorously acknowledged the film's critical reception, but his charm as Bruce Wayne in Batman is undeniable. However, Clooney's connection to The Dark Knight didn't end with that film. In 2023, he made a surprise return to the role in The Flash, 2023, reprising his version of Bruce Wayne in a brief but memorable cameo. This time, Clooney's Batman was an older, more reflective Bruce, offering fans a nostalgic yet heartfelt return to the role, especially in contrast to the darker, more brooding portrayals of Batman in the modern DC films. The cameo in The Flash was a fun nod to the 90s era of Batman, and it gave Clooney a chance to revisit a version of the character that had been so widely discussed for years. The Calm Between Storms, Val Kilmer, 1995. Val Kilmer's Batman in Batman Forever, 1995, represented a transitional phase for the character in both tone and style. Directed by Joel Schumacher, the film was a departure from the darker aesthetic of Tim Burton's Batman films, leaning into a more colorful, action-packed, and at times even whimsical approach. Kilmer's portrayal was an interesting balance. He was serious and brooding when needed, but also showed a more human side of Bruce Wayne, one grappling with the duality of his existence. His Batman was not as dark as Keaton's, nor as flamboyant as Clooney's, but sat somewhere in between, making it a unique interpretation. Kilmer also portrayed Bruce Wayne as emotionally conflicted, particularly with the introduction of the character of Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones, and the return of the Joker's influence. Kilmer's Batman was a man still coming to terms with his purpose, trying to balance the need for justice with the emotional toll it took on him. His performance, though sometimes overshadowed by the film's more cartoonish elements, still has a dedicated following and is fondly remembered for its complexity within the context of the film's vibrant style. The Return of the Dark Knight, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's Batman in Tim Burton's Batman, 1989, and Batman Returns, 1992, revolutionized the way we viewed the character. Keaton's Batman was an enigmatic and slightly tortured soul, perfectly embodying the fractured psyche of Bruce Wayne. His portrayal brought a level of depth and darkness to the role, while still keeping Batman's crusade for justice front and center. Keaton's influence on the character can't be overstated. He made the Batman of the 1980s and 90s an enduring cultural icon. Keaton would reprise his role for The Flash, 2023, returning to the suit after a decades-long hiatus, bringing a wave of nostalgia and excitement to old and new fans alike. The Caped Crusader, Adam West's campy Batman. When most people think of the 1960s Batman, Adam West is the first face that comes to mind. His portrayal of Batman in the Batman TV series, 1966 to 1968, defined an entire generation's understanding of the Caped Crusader, though it was far more campy and lighthearted than other interpretations. West's Batman was all about colorful villains, exaggerated fights, and quirky one-liners. Though the show didn't dive deep into the darker elements of Batman's character, it made the superhero a household name with its iconic theme song and humorous take on Gotham's criminal underworld. West's charm and wit helped make this iteration of Batman unforgettable in its own right. The sophomore Batman, Robert Lowery's brave and bold. Robert Lowery's portrayal of Batman in the 1949 Batman and Robin serial remains one of the earliest live-action depictions of the Dark Knight. Though the serials themselves were limited in scope, Lowery's Batman was bold and courageous, fighting villains across a series of episodes in a more serialized, adventure-filled fashion. The show's low-budget production and its focus on crime fighting made it a product of its time, but it is still fondly remembered by fans as one of the first big-screen adaptations of Batman. The very first Batman, Lewis Wilson's historic debut. Lewis Wilson's portrayal of Batman in the first-ever live-action Batman serial, 1943, set the stage for all that came after. Wilson's take on the Caped Crusader was far less stylized than what would follow, with the character fighting for justice against Nazis and criminals in a highly serialized manner. This 15-chapter serial was an experiment, and though Wilson's performance has been largely forgotten in mainstream discussions, it holds a special place in Batman history as the first time the character was brought to life outside of comics. The end of the line. Batman has evolved from a comic book hero into one of the most recognizable and diverse characters in popular culture, with countless portrayals across different mediums. From the campy antics of Adam West to the brooding noir of Robert Pattinson, every actor who has donned the cowl has added something unique to the legacy of the Dark Knight. As we look to the future, we know that Gotham's protector will continue to evolve, but no matter who plays Batman next, one thing is certain: Batman's legacy will always be as dark, mysterious, and thrilling as the night itself. That's it, geeks. Always remember to enjoy your watch.